I told you I had good balance. I balanced rice in my head. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's so just silly. Why am I balancing rice on my head? I don't know. I want to boil the rice. I'm making enchilada rice. Why? I'm just experimenting. I'm having fun in the kitchen. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It might not be what you want to do, but it's what I want to do. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to boil a whole bunch of rice because if I make it now, I will have it later. And then I can use it. Like once the rice is boiled, I know some people are like, well, but you can't do it that way, Julia. Oh, yes, you can. You can boil all the rice at once. And then I'll have it all cooked and ready to go for days on end. So what kind of rice is this, you ask? It was a little bit pricier than it used to be. El Mexicano rice. It was $2.95 at Food for Less. Yes. So I might add a little bit more water to all this rice just to make sure it boils down. Because I'm going to pour it out after it's boiled. So I think I want to add a little bit more water in. So I have insurance that it's going to boil properly. I love boiling rice. So I'm just going to look up some things about boiling rice. Let's see. Boiling rice. To get some ideas. Boiling your rice. Should you boil your rice? There's a lot of consistency. What is the rice boiling method? This is a video. I don't want a video. I just want to boil my rice. Can I just boil rice in water? There's lots of questions. Fill a pot with water. No need to measure and salt it. Just like you do with pasta water. Bring it to a boil and then carefully add your desired amount of rice. Maintain a boil. Boil uncovered without stirring until the rice is softened through but still a tad al dente, not mushy. So yes, boiling rice is a thing. I know some people are like, but you can't do that. Well, yes, you can. You can do anything you want. There's no rules that say you can't boil rice. I mean, what do you think the Ding Dong rice cooker is? It's a device that cooks the rice for you. So instead of just buying a rice cooker, I just boil my rice. So this one says 1/4 cup in my package. I'm just seeing how much rice it is. 1/4 cup was a serving. 1/4. Let's see. Times 20. I think it's 5 cups of rice. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep boiling my rice. And I know they said you don't have to stir it, but I do stir it a little. So I'm just gonna let my rice just boil away. I'm gonna look up some more things about boiling rice because I haven't boiled rice in a while, just to see like different recommendations that it has for boiling rice. Like if you go on Google, boiling your rice. How long should I boil my rice for? It says right here, people ask how long it says until it's tender, about 15 to 20 minutes. How to cook rice, boil rice. We could 4 steps in cooking. How long to boil rice? Rice boiling method. Rice boiling method. Fill a pot with water, then add rice. The rice should be covered by several inches of water. Yeah. So I like this boil your rice method. Some people are like, but what? What's the but? Now we can move on to other things that we want to do. Like, oh, I need to get the cutting board. I can't move on until I get my cutting board back. Cutting board, where are you? Oh, you're right there. So we want to prep some vegetables. I'm gonna make a salad too, but first thing I want to do is just get a bell pepper. Bell pepper. I'm gonna make my salad later, but the bell pepper I'm gonna add to my rice. That's what I'm gonna do with it. He's gonna be in my enchilada rice. And I think I'm gonna add a can of black beans too. Because I can. Blah 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 blah. I have my fresh tomatoes too that I could add to my enchilada sauce rice if I want, but I'm gonna use my tomatoes for my salad. Actually. Obviously, you don't have to stir it, but yeah, I do. I do stir it. Wash your shit sounds a little nutty when it gets going. See when a pan has like some goopiness on it and I'm soaking it after cooking something? If I'm just sitting here, I can kind of scrape off some of the goopiness. I'm just sitting here. It's like, you know what? I'm not just going to do that right now. And I'm thinking about it. There's nothing that hot water won't fix. Like I did a short last night. You don't have to buy toxic chemicals to clean your stove. That soap and water technique, it works so good. It worked really good. Like it worked amazingly. It just works really, really good. And I highly, highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend. Like if you want to clean your stove or a pan or anything. Also, I have like these little scouring pads, just any kind of thing. So, like, since I'm chopping things right now, I'm just soaking a pan while I'm doing it. Ah, you're not far away. Yeah. So I have that. And then I have a whole bunch of cucumbers that I need to get to. Yes. Cucumbers and we need to start prepping all of our veggies. We might do them in tandems. I feel like I need some coffee to keep going. Alrighty, Rue. So, maybe we'll do cucumbers first. I probably should have cooked my cucumbers already, but oh well, I haven't. Cooked, I mean peeled, used them, but I didn't get to it last week. Last week you made cucumbers, and I remember now that I had double bagged them because there was a hole in the first bag. It's funny how all the memories of you bought them come back to you. You're like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I think maybe I'm gonna add some more water to my rice so you boiling. So just make sure it's to the bottom. Oh, the cucumber is very cool or cold. Ah, cold. Too cold. Oh, I'm gonna throw everything in the dryer while I'm doing that. Spaceship told me so. That's just smash it. There was part of a green bean in the dryer. Weird. Green bean, part of the green bean got stuck in the dryer. I'm like, what are you doing there, mister? I feel like I need a little bit more water for the rice. I'm just checking on my rice. Do you need a spatula though that will scrape the bottom because that one doesn't really scrape. No, it went over the side. I was so careful enough. Okay, so that happened. I clean it up as much as I can when I'm going, just so I don't have a bigger mess later. Oh, clean as you go thing. Let it cook off a little bit more, and then I'll rinse those things off. have our pan of fried rice, not fried rice, but the boiled rice now. So it'll be a nice base for a lot of things that we can make throughout the week. Wonder. Okay, this is wow. Okay, so I was just looking this up because it seems like this has always been something I kind of felt like I knew. Like that pan of like the boiled rice, it made a ton of rice. But I looked at the calories. Like, what are the calories? Like, and I knew it wasn't high, and I just inputted it. It's 1,019 calories for 5 cups of rice. So it's not a low calorie food, but it's not calorie dense as some other things. But it just goes to show, like, Asian people eat a lot of rice, and traditionally before Western style diets became more popular, Asian people have always been like slender. So, like, carbohydrates, I don't think necessarily make you fat. I think it's just more like the processed ones. I feel like something just about eating rice with, like, well, a lot of Japanese people eat it with seafood, and they eat it with like different greens. So I just don't think rice is necessarily bad. It's just what you eat besides the rice, really. It's kind of my take on it. Water bottle. Let's see. Yeah, it makes a lot of rice. It really does. Like, wow. And the cool thing about having the rice cooked already is you can do pretty much whatever you want with the rice, you know? I think I need another bowl so I can distribute everybody. Feels quite lovely to have your hands coated in tomatoes, you know? And one thing about I feel that's kind of fun about doing cooking live streams is it gets me into actually food prepping. Like I actually do more of it when I have this accountability to like be kind of, you know, be doing it. I just feel like I'm more accountable. I love small pieces of vegetables. I just like everything in little small pieces because it's just easier to chew that way. Like I guess some people like big pieces of food and they like taking big bites, but to me, like sometimes I end up eating a big piece of food and having to kind of like chew on it in my mouth because I'm not one of those people that can just bite off like a big piece of food. Like it's just not. It's just never been comfortable for my teeth and my mouth, and I hate having to explain that. And people don't get it, but not everybody like wants to eat this big giant thing and just take a bite off of it. Like you know, I like cutting my food up into smaller pieces. Like having it cut up into smaller pieces that's just more enjoyable for me. It just makes the experience of eating vegetables more enjoyable because I guess a lot of people just like big pieces and no, I love tiny little manageable, really teeny tiny pieces of food. That's just my favorite. The smaller the better. Make all my little salads. I think while I'm doing that, I kind of want to get my cucumbers out of the sink so they're not hanging out because I left them in here. So I'm going to try to gather up some of my cucumber shreds. I can throw those away. If you have a compost pile, that's a wonderful way to use fruit scraps, vegetable scraps. It doesn't even have to be like, let's say you don't garden and you just have some, I don't know, property. One thing you can do is it's a really easy way to get rid of vegetable scraps or fruit scraps. You can just like kind of you this is how I used to do it. Like when I used to I think I was pretty good at compost, and I had my own system, and I didn't do all these like fancy schmancy ways that people do it. You don't have to do it that way. There's an easier way to do it that will prevent animals like from digging into it. So you want to dig a deep hole in the ground, and you just put the vegetable scraps in, and then you take dirt and you cover it, and you turn it throughout the day. It's so simple because I did this for years, like when I used to live with my parents when I was younger, and then I lived at their house for a couple of years in my early 20s. And yeah, composting is just so easy. And they had the best compost piles. You didn't have to do anything fancy. I know people are like, oh, you need to buy this machine that'll make the compost for you. No. Like literally, if you don't want to garden, but you want to have a more like just sustainable way of getting rid of scraps, you can literally just compost them and they go back into the earth. And yes, I know they'll do that on their own in the landfill, but it enriches your soil. So why not? Like why not? And then sometimes the fun thing is like funny things will start growing out of the compost pile. Like you'll have some seeds and stuff. You'll have random things that'll just kind of start growing out of it. It's always interesting. And then I like to get a lot of the juice from one of the tomatoes. Alrighty, Ruse. The next step is I have some yummy green onions. Some of them are going to go into my fried rice dish. Some of them are going to go into the salads. Where did I put my onions? Onion friends, where did I stick you? Here they are. I bought scallions today. So I was in the mood for scallions. Something so good to me. I'm going to get a plate for some of my scallions. And others I'll add to the salad. I don't know. How many scallions? Maybe I want to conserve some of them for another day. I don't think I want to make them all tonight. Okay, so you have these rubber bands on them. You can just take the rubber bands off. And then I think I want a couple salads. And my enchilada rice is going to also come together soon. Big piece of stuff. I want it tinier. I like smaller things. I really love just cooking, home cooking. You know why? It feels lighter, okay? I was just talking about, like, I thought, eating Chinese food out last Thursday was so much fun, but then, I don't know, come Friday, it just felt so heavy. And then I had a whole bunch of the Chinese takeout with me. And it was good, but it's so salty and it was so heavy. I'm just like, this feels heavy. It does not feel nice and light. I'm not saying you can't use fat in your cooking because you definitely can, but I just like to have it in in a balance that makes me feel good. Like I do like olive oil and stuff, and I love avocado. Like today for lunch, I had a guacamole, not just an avocado toast bagel, but I had a guacamole bagel. It was really good. Okay, so let's see. And then after this, I think I'm gonna place my salads in the fridge just so they can start chilling back down. And then I'm gonna make a dressing for them after this. After I get the enchilada rice on the way. Then I need to make some room for my salads. These peppers out here are gonna go in my salad actually. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with them. Right here, stir. And then wait. Okay. So the first step is I want to. Maybe I'll just focus more on the other things I'm going to add to my enchilada rice. Because it's going to have a green sauce, so I don't want, like, I'm going to add this, onion, scallion to it. And then I have my green bell pepper. And then I have these red peppers that I'm gonna cut up a few of them for it. But, you know, even though it's a mild salsa, I don't want to go too overboard. Well, I think so. I like spice. What can I say? Of course I can go overboard. These aren't really even that spicy of peppers, honestly. Right. So... get out of pan. Got a nice flat pan. I'm gonna start moving over here now. I have a little bit of olive oil that I'm gonna add to my pan. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I don't want to go too overboard, because I think our enchilada sauce might have some fat in it already. Actually, it doesn't, but that's okay. I just don't want to go too overboard, So I'm gonna put onions in first. Just a tiny bit. And I'm gonna start cooking. And then I have my bell pepper that I'm gonna add in. I'm gonna start cooking that off. It smells really good right now. Next thing I'm gonna get is I want to open all my cans. Let's see which kind of beans I want. I have these. I was thinking about black beans, but I don't know. It might be interesting with refried beans, actually. That might make it more interesting, I think. I'm going to try it. I was thinking black beans, but I think I'm going to do refried beans, because why not? I'm going to open both of my cans so I have them ready to go. Okay. I'm going to start adding some rice in. Might put in a little bit more oil. Bottom of your pan. Should. More than I want. open. Now we have a can of refried beans that we're going to open. This might be fun. I think I'm going to drain some of the water off of them, though. This is so old school. Incorporated in here. Really bringing it in. I want to keep the heat low though first, so I can kind of get everything mixed. This is definitely looking like enchilada rice though. The cool thing about cooking the rice before you go ahead and like all the recipes that I saw, they were cooking the rice with the enchilada sauce, but I just made the rice ahead of time. I boiled it ahead of time. I feel like that makes it easier, honestly. Keep over. Mixing. It's very green. This is a green sauce. Green. With some hints of red from the bell peppers. But this is like a green enchilada rice dish. guys. Still see some white rice. I'm gonna get all the flavors all incorporated. So you can see me a little bit better. And we don't really have to cook it because there's no meat in here, so it's not like we have to overcook it. We kind of just want to heat it, but I kind of just want everything incorporated a little bit. That's kind of my goal, really. My refried beans, but okay. So they're not really refried because there's a Spanish word it's refrito. So the English translation of that word is not quite correct. And okay, so that's a good question because refrito. Let's see. So when we look up refrito, it means refrito meaning in English. Okay, refrito. Okay, like I know it says refried, but are refried beans really refried? In this dish, they're boiled and mashed, and the term refried is misleading. So basically, it's coming from the word refrito. It just means well fried. Like I guess that's the closest I can get in the English from Spanish to English translation. So they're not exactly refried because you boil the beans. Like traditionally they boil them, cook them with lard. I don't cook beans with lard, but let's say you were to cook some beans. I just cook them with when I've done them from scratch, like with water and oil and salt and all that. And then after you cook the beans, you kind of fry them a little bit. So they're not exactly refried per se, but it just seems that way. So I just happen to have a can of refried beans in my cabinet, and I don't know. It's just it's enchilada rice, basically. And if you eat meat, you can put all sorts of meat things in it. But I want to see what it tastes like. It's so interesting. It tastes like I remembered it when I was younger because I did take Spanish. I just had to re-look it up because honestly, my Spanish is not very good. I just took a couple of Spanish classes in college, but I just remember we talked about that. That was one of the concepts that we talked about in a class or something. I was very good at writing Spanish though when I took it back in college. I got pretty well. I wasn't high level, but I could write an elementary paragraph, elementary level paragraph. So I was better at writing Spanish and reading Spanish than speaking it. The speaking part was kind of for me wonky because I took French in high school. So I always kind of would get the pronunciations of Spanish and French. But it's actually really good. Oh my gosh. And there's variations on this. You could just make it I just went on Google, type in enchilada rice, and there's a lot of different ideas. I did it a vegan way, but I basically just went to Food for Less tonight, and I bought a thing of the green enchilada sauce, and I had the rice, and then I did the onions, and then I have a salad I'm gonna make. But the salad is just really good. It's so basic though, but growing up in Southern California, we ate a lot of beans and rice. Well, I know people that eat meat, they eat meat with it, but I don't know. That was something that my mom made a lot, beans and rice. Or like bean burritos with rice and stuff. With a salad on the side. So I am going to make the salad part. That's what I already chopped up my salad. But what I want to do is, for my salad, I'm doing more of a Middle Eastern salad. You know, I love my Middle Eastern inspired stuff being part Syrian. That's the stuff I like. And yeah, so I still had some tahini left, but I don't know how much I have left in this one. I think it kind of was at the bottom of the thing with it. I think it's kind of almost gone. But oh my gosh, this I can't stop eating this enchilada rice. It's really good. It's so basic. What I'm telling you, it's kind of like Spanish rice, Mexican rice, but it's more saucy, like an enchilada. And if you want ideas, I just this is how I did it. I just took rice and I cooked the onions first with some green bell pepper, and then I added the rice in with enchilada sauce, and I added the beans. I was going to do black beans, but I'm like, oh, I have a can of refried beans, so let's put that in. But this is really good. Very basic, but it's just very nostalgic because I remember, growing up a lot, my mom always made a lot of beans and rice, like really good stuff. But I'm going to do a salad. Now, we always did like Italian salad dressing a lot, and also too, like I started, like when I started doing just more research, because like if your dad is Syrian, he doesn't know how to cook, he doesn't know anything about the dishes. So I just started learning all these things on my own. Well, my grandpa did. My grandpa knew about all these dishes, but my dad didn't. And there was this cookbook written by Helen Corey called The Art of Syrian Cooking, and I would love to find that cookbook, but I have never found it. Just like there was this book called the Syrian Yankee that I ordered for my dad during the pandemic, and then it got sent to the post office, and I don't know, they didn't go to pick it up, and then they sent it back after a month, and I'm like, I paid for it. So basically, I was out like $15 for this book because I didn't I don't know, I felt like it was a scam or something. Like, I paid for that book. But I wish it was still in print. I just, but nowadays we have the internet. So there's a lot of great Syrian Lebanese, inspired things you can find online. You don't really need to buy the book. I just wanted that book so bad because that was a book that my grandpa had. He had a book. I remember he had a book about the Druze. He had a book about the Sufis, all about Mount Hermon in Syria and Lebanon. And it just really was so interesting to me. And all those books he had, it was so amazing. He was a history teacher. His degree was in history too. I didn't like teaching, but he loved it. He taught for 30 years. This tahini is really hard to open. I wish I spoke Arabic though. See, I don't really speak. Let's see, what does that mean? I only know a few words, sadly. Let's see, Balad Sham. Balad al-Sham. Balad al-Sham. See, Balad al-Sham referring to. Oh yeah, okay. Some simply Syria English language sources referring. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Very cool. But when I did the research, We have ancestors that were in Aleppo, like distantly, but most of them were in Russia. And this was the funny thing because I have a great great grandparent who was born in 1780 in Russia, Lebanon. But look, it was all the greater Syria back then. It really was. This was during the end times of the Ottoman Empire, but too many spoons. Too many spoons. Too many spoons. I just clean it all later when I'm done cooking. I need to buy better tahini in the future. I like the one that's all pre-mixed. And this one separates too much. It's too separaty. I don't like that. I like it when it's all like mixed together very smoothly. Don't. Swap some button. Why not? Take care of it later. Yeah, it's part of. I looked up, like I saw that it was part of Syria. What it said was Balad Sham, often referred to as Islamic Syria or simply Syria, English language sources, was a province, like part of Syria. That's very cool. Very cool. Okay. Oh, lemon. We need our lemon. So we have our tahini, we have our lemon. It cleans more. I was cleaning really late last night. All this cooking stuff is making me have to clean more and more and more, but I love it. Okay. Bring you forward. Sweet lemon. I'm going to put a lot of lemon in it. And then I want a little bit of olive oil. That's good. I have to take another bite, though, of the enchilada rice. It's so good. If you've never made enchilada rice and you just want something really simple to make, I highly recommend it. And it's a budget thing. It's not expensive at all. And it's so good. How much lemon do I want in there? Maybe I don't want too much. I think I want a lot. And then I have my little peppers. I'm going to use them for seasoning. And you go. And you go. And in it goes. Okay. And then not too much. All right. Where's my blender top? Blender top, where are you? Here I am with a shiny coat on. Great. Hop onto the blender, please. Bringing all the salads back. Here they are. They're all back. And then we're just going to pour some of our, it's basically like a tahini. Ooh. I want to leave it thinner than that, though. Honestly, I do. Because I want to be able to pour it. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more oil. I don't want it that thick. That's too thick. I want to be able to pour it. It's just like super thick right now. Just a little bit of water. Okay, let's go at it again. Yeah, that's more like what I want. Very tahini salad dressing. Mm-hmm. More top later if I so feel inclined. I think I'm gonna put the other salads back in the fridge. Ooh, yeah, you definitely do need to water. Honestly, in my opinion, you need to water down tahini, like especially when it gets clumpy and whatnot. It just makes it easier to make a salad dressing. So, but that's my opinion. I like it a little bit thinner sometimes, like if it's going to be salad dressing consistency. Well, now I have my salad. See? I'm telling you. So when I started out, I didn't have a salad, right? But now, when I'm done, at the very, very end, I have a bowl of my enchilada rice. And I do have the cucumber, tomato with some scallion tahini dressing. I'm going to mix it a little bit more just to kind of get it all incorporated. It's super good. I really like it. This is good. Oh, wow. Very lemony. Has some olive oil in there too. It's better than like the tahini salad dressings you get from the store because I feel like they kind of cheat because they have like canola oil. But this has olive oil, so it tastes better. It tastes a lot better. And I did minimal salt because already the enchilada rice has salt in it. It's really good. It's so good. This is such basic food, but it's really good. And it's like two of my favorite culinary experiences is like Syrian Lebanese, like salad, tahini sauce. They love cucumber and tomato salads in that area. My grandpa loved salad. And it's also like enchilada rice and like beans and rice, something that I just grew up a lot. I think people that eat meat, they're going to have it with meat. But if you grew up like more vegetarian, this is something you eat a lot growing up. And it's so basic. The tahini salad dressing is definitely more money because that thing of tahini I bought was like $7.99. But the enchilada rice is pretty cheap because you get a big sauce of you get a big can of enchilada sauce. You have a big bag of rice, whatever veggies you want to add. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty good. I'm kind of excited about it. It's really good. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night.